Hey everyone, this is Harold. I'm the founder and CSO of Vertosa. So today, I'm very fortunate to give you a presentation of who am I, who is Vertosa, and why we're here. So start with who am I? I'm a chemist. And my specialty focuses in emulsion chemistry. So emulsion is a term to describe the relation between oil and water. As everybody know, water doesn't dissolve in oil, right? They hate each other. So in order to introduce an oil compound into water, you need some technology. And most of the technology, mostly is called emulsion. And by emulsion, it's actually we invent some emulsifier. So that special molecule is helping the oil to be trapped into water. So in water, the oil form a sphere. And the surfactant, emulsifier, is lining on the edge between the oil and water. So as an emulsion chemist, I'm very fortunate to spend my PhD 5 years designing that molecule, surfactants, right, in order to design a desired emulsion. And after I graduated from NYU as a PhD, I moved to Silicon Valley, worked for a company called BioRad. So in BioRad, we use emulsion droplets as a testing tube to detect target DNA and target RNAs in the absolute number. So we can tell you how many genes, how many this target gene the patient has. It's very powerful for early mutation of cancer, for personal medicine, and even for COVID-19 test. So that's my background on my career, emulsion chemist. And now, when I founded the company called Vertosa, this company is making cannabis water compatible so we can infuse cannabis into beverages. So this whole idea came to me when there's a very strange chance that a coworker in BioRad gave me a bag of weed, right? I'm late to enjoy cannabis in my life. So I didn't understand that in the beginning. I was a little doubtful also, a little scared, But I keep trying and I keep digging into the literatures, documentaries of understanding this plant, why it is illegal, right? Why it is beneficial. So I find out there's so much value in there, and at least it make my life better when I consume cannabis. So I have my own journey from a doubter to a believer. And after I believe in this compound, I feel like, man, there is so much value to dig in here. And everybody could benefit from this plant. So I want to contribute to the industry, but I don't know where to start. Then I go to, accelerators and meetups to meet the industry people. And everybody seems to point me to the direction that the oil, cannabis oil, THC or CBD, they're not water soluble. So people have to consume by smoking or either edible, right? None of those methods can be widely available or acceptable to the population, right? So whoever can figure out a way to consistently, reliably turn the oil into a water ingredients, and people can drink cannabis, that can open a lot of opportunity for the consumer and for the whole society to change the stigma around this plant. So I thought, man, I've been working on emulsion my whole career, right? I've been thinking about emulsion every day. So, and given my passion of this plant, I could be the best person to do this. So that's where Vertosa is founded. That was nearly 2 years ago. And I'm very, very fortunate that we're in the industry, an emerging industry, so many opportunities. And bottom line is we're providing something that the society needs. Look at it around us, today, everybody is stressed, right? The world is upside down. Every day we have bad news. So I think, people's tension is very high and they lose sleep, they're stressed, they're painful. So, we are here to deliver a cannabis in a socially acceptable way for people to enjoy cannabis, to lower their anxiety, right? So I think we're doing a very good job here to heal the world. So that is where I started and why Vertosa exists and what we do. So now we make water-soluble ingredients of cannabis to be infused into beverages. So how does this work? right? When consumer think about drinking cannabis, never happened before. How does this work? So it all comes down to the basic science. As we know, THC or CBD, they lack fats, they lack oil. That's why you can dissolve in butter and cook into the cookies. Well, what we do in the Vertosa is we take the THC and we have our proprietary protected formula, a combination of emulsifiers, and we add water. We combine those three parts together into a big jar and we input energy in here. The energy is breaking up the big oil droplets into billions of smaller droplets. And then the emulsifier system, at the same time, will be trapping on each smaller droplets and make it stable. So in the end, you have a jar of concentrated emulsion that you have billions of those smaller THC or CBD droplets within this container. So if you have this container, imagine you are making a cannabis-infused coffee. You are making 100 gallons of coffee base right here, right? So you have this container, concentrated, and we tell you the COA, we tell you how concentrated it is, how much you take. And you calculate that, you dump it into your coffee base and stir, and then you have a cannabis-infused coffee. It's that easy, right? So we have been very fortunate to work with top clients in California to bring them to life. We have saw coffee, juice, beer, wine, a lot of different consumer products in the beverage field, and it's very fulfilling to see those clients coming to the shelf and consumers are enjoying cannabis from drinking. It's a revolutionary thing for us, and we're very fortunate. So as we grow, we right now I'm wearing this gowning, and here we are in Canada. So Canadian market is waiting for a revolution, and we're very lucky to bring our technology from California to Canada to infuse and help brands in Canada. So I'm working here to bring our technology here. So that's why I'm wearing this gowning in our facility right now. So in general, as a consumer, right, when you hear cannabis-infused beverage, you'll say, how does this work? And how can I trust it, right? It's a new product category. So in my mind, there are two words that, we can build up this industry together. One is consistency. The other is predictability. So consistency, meaning consistent potency. Meaning if you pick up a can, it says 10 milligram CBD on the can, on the label. If you send it out to the lab, it should give you 10 milligram CBD, or within a reasonable range. So a lot of brands actually failed just that first step because it's hard. When you have an emotion and you want to infuse into a can, from here to here, there are many steps you have to overcome. For example, your emotion has to be compatible with every ingredient in a can. And those cans may have juice or purees or all the other ingredients in there, right? So that's the first step, compatible. Second step is when you have infused into the can, for the can to be sold, they have to be processed thermally. It's called thermal processing. The goal is to kill all the microbials in the can so it has a longer shelf life. Well, most of those processes use heat or high pressure. So under those conditions, your emulsion could be broken, right? It may introduce instability. And the emulsion may have some other interactions with the base also under that condition. So you need to eliminate those negative effects. And after that, the emulsion is infused into the can and it is pasteurized, it's stable, and then the shelf life starts, right? So as we know, different packaging material will have different effects on the emulsion. For example, the can, inside the can, there is a thin foam called liner, right? Those liners are hydrophobic, and our emulsions are hydrophobic. By hydrophobic, I mean they all like oil, so they like each other. So the emulsion in the can will tend to stick to the liner over time. So if they stick to the liner, they lose the potency in a drink. So it may say 10 milligram on the label, but if you test it, it's only maybe 5-6 milligram. So that inconsistency is causing a lot of distrust from the consumer. And we have seen reports from FDA putting off random samples from market, and they all have inconsistent potencies. So at Vertosa, we really spend a lot of time working with a lot of partners in the packaging field, in the dealcoholization field, in the co-packing field, in the lab space. We work with everybody to form this platform so that our emulsion, our offering will be guaranteeing a consistent potency in different vessels. So that's one. Secondly is the predictability. Let's say you picked up this can, 10 milligrams CBD, right? You drink it. How are you gonna feel? Is it gonna be like a beer or wine? You know your dose, like 2 beers down, how drunk you're gonna be, right? So we are shooting for that consistency and predictability. So the predictability part is coming from the bioavailability, right? The PK study or pharmacokinetic. When you drink this CBD, how soon the CBD will go into blood? How much of the CBD of that 10 milligram will eventually go into the blood, right? So when you see that curve of you drinking that CBD, you will understand, the onset, the duration, and how high you can get. So that is the whole experience of drinking this cannabis-infused beverage. So we're getting there. We are testing our formulas, with the lab to perform the bioavailability study so that we can predict, those results. And for Vertosa, I want to still say this. Why people ask me why Vertosa is different? There are other companies doing water-soluble technology. So the difference in Vertosa is we don't believe one size fits all. One emulsion formula just simply cannot fulfill all the product desires, because each product, you have a protein drink in a PET bottle. He has a coffee in a can. He has a wine in a glass bottle. They are all different bases, different packagings, and different look, and different taste, different requirements, essentially. So as Vertosa, we really work with the clients hand by hand. We ask them first, what you want to make? What beverage? Let me know. What packaging? What thermal processing? So we can recommend different emulsion types for you to try. And we're going to do all the study, all the testing before you launch the product, so that we eliminate the failure risk. So not one size fits all is the thing that we really believe in our heart. And we really work with the clients hand by hand to deliver the best emulsion solutions to them. So I think I have talked enough about us and me and myself and the difference of Vertosa and how we make emulsion. So in the final statement, I love to address, restate our mission of Vertosa. So, this whole world needs healing, essentially. People everywhere is scared of COVID, of their kids going to school, of their elderly parents. So, we're here to deliver this remedy. We truly believe cannabis and other plant medicines, they are the remedy to the world. And we're here to deliver this remedy in a reliable, scalable, enjoyable way. So thank you for your support. Thank you. I think the reason behind different spectrums, and because we have different spectrum of consumers, you have those patients, who needs this medicine, right, daily, and they have a high tolerance. So those products, high dose products, are designed for them. Those newcomers, who wants to, get into the industry, who want to experience cannabis, and that is the low dose beverage for them, right? So I think both ends make sense. So so my advice for newcomers, for sure, every time it's go low and slow, right? It's like first time you drink alcohol, no one's giving you tequila straight, right? You start with some wine, some beer first when you're young, right? And then you taste, it's drunk feels like this. And then maybe I can take some more, right? So it's always building up your confidence in yourself and in the plant. So I will say it's always a relation between you and the plant, right? Don't push too hard on yourself. There are. Give you an example. red wine. Red wine, pomegranate juices, apple juices, they all contain polyphenols. They're red color, right? The polyphenols actually is not compatible with most of the synthetic emulsifier. So when we want to infuse red wine, everything precipitates, fall off, right? It's not stable. But then we know, okay, maybe the emulsifier causing the problem. We're going back to the drawing board, and then we redesign an emulsion that use all the ingredients that's compatible with polyphenols. And then now we can use this formula to infuse into red wine. So there is a client called Vivogue. They are the first company who launched cannabis-infused red wine, dealcoholized, by the way, right, in the world. So that's what our technology enabled this client to launch that product. Talking about different cannabinoids, you should start with the efficacy. How you want to create the experience for your consumer. It's a nighttime, go to sleep, or nighttime party, or daytime going to the hike, right? So you need to start there. And then you need to understand what cannabinoid combining with what terpenes, because terpenes sometimes play a big role too. And usually our clients, before coming to us, they already have some idea. Maybe not mature, but some idea, right? For example, when they know CBN help you go to sleep, right? They know, maybe myrcene give you this jack up energy, right? So they have some idea, but then we will help them to say, okay, let's figure out the ratio. Let's figure out how we do this in detail, because we know the big direction. So after a couple runs, right? We usually give them, the pure THC, CBD, myrcene, CBN emulsion, and it's like a Lego, right? You take the Lego and you just boom, 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 right? You infuse, and you have an internal team. You feel it, right? You see, okay, maybe I like this ratio. Let's do a pilot, right? We combine everything together, and we make the emulsion, and so that's the way we approach those questions. We want to go as early as possible, because we are the essential ingredients in their beverage, right? Without us, it's just coffee, right? With us, it's cannabis in coffee. So our ingredients may have a priority interaction, figure out the interaction between the base, between thermal processing, between packaging, right? So the early we get into the clients, the better, because we know, okay, maybe you want to try those, and that just save your time, right? So because when we work with more clients, they are teaching us what is good, what is not good. So we have a database already. So if you tell me today, this is my combination, we can already say, maybe you want to try those two formulas. Don't mess up with the other formula, because they not work, because some other clients use the same formula and they don't work, right? So early as possible, so we can start the testing. Also because the stability testing takes time, right? Some clients really I want to launch it tomorrow. I said, no way. Well, if you take all the responsibility, if you failed, that's your responsibility. You can go, right? But we really suggest, let's spend the time, at least a month or two, right, to test the stability. So you have the data, you're confident to go to the market, right? When we're confident too. So that's the approach we take. We see Canada as the first big legal market, has a lot of potentials. I've been here 9 weeks, and all the people I interact, everybody consumes cannabis. It's their daily routine, right? It's like a medicine to them. So, but 90% of them still smokes, right? Smoking is the number one. Even edibles is very, very, very less. So we see the market is waiting for good technology, good product. I have been testing some infused product here in Canada. They feel like they are 1.5 years ago in California, right? It's a little bitter, taste is not perfect. The effect is okay for me, right? I taste everything. So I think the consumer is waiting for better products, right? Lower price also, right? The price is too high. Like who is paying $8 for 5 milligrams? Right? So, there are a lot of rooms to improve. And one of the big reasons to improve is more competition, more product coming online, right? More emotion, more brands. So the brands will come online, after we come online, after we can consistently produce in our lab here, we can pump the emulsion and pump the production. I think it's going to definitely improve, because now the market feels like it's early, right? Just legalized. There are so many testing fees because the government really wants to make sure. I really understand the Canadian government. They want to set a good example to the world, right? They don't want to screw up the legalization. They don't want to have reports say a kid take 100 milligram and died during driving, right? That's horrible news to the whole industry. So to make sure we go slow and low first for the whole industry, right? To figure out where we are lacking, where we should be more strengths. So I think I agree with that approach. Start low, start a little more expensive, because it's hard to make it right now. A limited source, limited outlet. But when we come in here, the co-packing facility, I know 3 or 4 big co-packers are coming up right now. They just got their license and they're our partners, right? So if they started cranking the production, pumping up the cans day and night, and the price will go down eventually, right? And the better product a consumer will choose. I like this and I don't like that. So there's no market yet. It just pioneers right now, right? But there's no competition, no market. When the time comes, you go to a metro, you go into the beverage section, the whole wall is beverage until that happens, right? And it's gonna get there. This is actually one of our clients back in California, Tilly. They are Canadian-based. So this is monitoring, simulating a whiskey. You can put on ice and we infuse that, right? So the onset of this is about 5 to 10 minutes, just like a whiskey. You take a sip, you feel it immediately. The reason is you can see it's translucent, transparent, right? So because we're using a small droplet size emulsion. So when the emulsion size is smaller, it hits you faster, right? Because it absorbs quicker. Well, we have other clients using another emulsion, which is a little cloudier. The droplet size is a little bigger, right? But it has other features. For example, stability in the can, stability in the PET bottle, right? It's a pick and choose what you really feel like. And those bigger droplets, they are natural or organic based ingredients. It's good for label, right? So those droplets may be on-site in maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? So that's why I say we don't believe one size fit all. We have customized solutions. And that's where clients, like this client, on-site is key. This kind of, I'm okay with using synthetic ingredients. As long as they're safe, they're grass, that's okay. But I want on-site. Just like a liquor. Other clients, like a coconut water company, they won't use any synthetic ingredients in there, right? And they're going to the can. So organic, a little slower onset on CBD is okay for them, right? So it's really what you really want. We talk a lot in the beginning, defining ourselves, who we are, what we really want to do, right? Because you can't do everything. And in the end, everybody voted, we are a cannabis company. We're not a fish oil company. We're not an omega-3 company. We're a cannabis company, right? So, you can say cannabis, a more broad range is plant medicine, right? And we know plant medicine exists thousands of years to benefit people. Our ancestors benefit from plant medicine and get connected with themselves, connected with nature, and connected with each other, right? So I think, digging out those values of plant medicine is what this world is need right now, right? And I truly believe cannabis is just the first one. And as you know, in California, in some cities, Oakland, Santa Cruz, they already decriminalized mushroom, right? You can buy mushroom legally from stores, right? So, because people have PTSDs, because people have this depression, right? So those mushrooms will work for them, truly magically. So I think mixing cannabis with other ingredients from nature is not far away. But as Vertosa right now, we want to focus on cannabis. And when the market opens, right, legalization happens, when step by step, when more people is asking these ingredients, it's very natural for us to go there.